Alright, good morning everybody. We're gonna be working on this here Demon Prince. It is gonna be the subject of my next video, so hopefully it comes out well. This model in particular I've been working on for quite a while. Working on is maybe not the right word to say, because he's mostly just been sitting on a shelf, but he is coming out pretty well. Alright, so I'm just gonna go and start the very slow process of hitting all the trim on this guy. Jeez, alright. Maybe I need more coffee, because I'm already struggling to actually pick all this stuff out. I'm just gonna do the skull detail also in metallic. Let's see how this early morning time slot does for us, because I have yet to actually try out streaming around this time. As my schedule's flexibility increases, I want to try out different times. Figure out maybe a more dynamic schedule, but we'll see how that goes. Hey, Pizza. I am doing well. How about yourself? Not too bad. I'm about to paint some orcs. Nice. 40k orcs or fantasy? And if they are 40k, are they the new ones or the older kits? I probably should be working on some new ones myself. I'm rather behind on conversions at the moment. 40k orcs, just the old ones? Good to hear. Not a fan of the new ones. Yeah, I've heard of that opinion that goes. I actually painted lots of the old orcs, but I did sell them off a while back. I don't know. It's a cool army. It's just it was sort of one of my earlier ones. I ended up really not liking the scheme after a while. Like at first I was okay with it, then after a while it just sort of lost its charm and I want to do something else. Is there anything in particular you don't like about new ones? I know it just They do have a very different vibe, but... Sorry if this all doesn't get caught quite on camera, but I am having to access them all at some pretty weird angles here, so just bear with me. It's just I've been brought up with the old works, and it's something about them really gives me the WoG vibes. I mean, that's totally fair. I've painted a lot of the old kits as well. I actually have a few sitting around that I might use for some of my upcoming Plague Orc conversions, but... I also just want to kind of paint one of the Black Reach bosses, because I have one sitting on a shelf behind me. I actually had like 3 of them, but I only have 1 left, so I might paint that guy up at some point. It'd be a fun project. Oh yeah, there is a video on the YouTube channel all about them. So if you want to take a look, that is the place to do it. I would usually flash them on screen, however, they're upstairs in the carrying case, and I really don't feel like grabbing them. But yeah, very fun project. Lets me do some conversion work. Same with this guy. I had quite a bit of fun doing the custom head, his sort of weird weapon, all the weird green stuff tentacles around his body. I'm not the best. This is actually my first experiment with green stuff. Probably like... Wow, God, it's been a while. Maybe like 6 years ago now? No, not quite that long. We'll call it 4. 4 years ago, I green stuffed this guy together. First ever green stuff project, and he's just been kind of sitting on my shelf for a long time, so I'm finally getting him painted. Oh wow, they look really cool. I'm thinking of making the new Mini of the Month Orc like a Demon Hunter or something. Inspo from Aeons of Battle. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I actually was really proud of this guy when I first made him. I just got really lazy and never painted him, which is really a shame. And something I'm currently trying to rectify. Because I got this guy right when we got the new Demon Prince kits. And just immediately got left to the sidelines. That's badass. Yeah, this is a statue from the, it's from the, Cygor/Gorgon kit for, Beastman in Warhammer Fantasy. But yeah, thank you. I definitely had a lot of fun with this guy. I mean, it helps that tentacles are probably the easiest thing to green stuff. So, didn't require a lot of skill by me, which, you know, helped. Are Demon Prince worth it in 11th? I want to get one, but I'm not too sure if it's the right choice. Now, I've played maybe 1 game of 11th and now of CSM. From what I recall, though, Demon Princes are potentially pretty good depending on what Chaos you play. I know apparently they're like a must-take in Emperor's Children. I don't really play the tabletop. I don't play Modern Edition Tabletop 40k enough. There's actually going to be a 10th edition thing at my store, which is going to be fun. But no, for 11th edition, I think you might want to look. You might want, verify elsewhere, because I'm not going to give you the most up-to-date advice. Unfortunately. Can they be attached to Black Legion? Yeah, they absolutely can. Black Legion can take them. I would have to look at their stats again. I think it's the sort of thing where it might not be the most meta choice. I know apparently Chaos Space Marines are all about the Defiler now, but I'm sure if it's like a casual game, I don't really see a Winged Demon Prince or even On Foot being too bad. There's also a few detachments which play well with Demon Princes if you want to focus on that. Like, I've had good experiences in 10th. I don't know if it's changed a lot in 11th, but I think Demon Princes are pretty neat, and usually they're tough enough to actually don't really care about meta. It just looks freaking amazing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's at a cost where I'm pretty sure it's like a good pickup, I would say. I don't know if it's the most meta, but like I'm rarely disappointed in my casual outings. It hits hard, it's fast. You can mark it with one of the Chaos Gods to get like an extra buff to specialize it. I actually have a second Demon Prince that I also need to paint. But that one I usually run as Tzeentch. If you run Tzeentch, like, its shooting isn't great, but it's like surprisingly not bad, which I think gives it an extra like fun dimension. So I'll definitely check that out. Start of 10th, it was great. Yeah. I haven't been in the hobby a huge amount of time. I started in 8th edition, which sounds like a long time ago now. But I was also out of the hobby all like throughout the later parts of high school and like into college, and I only came back about partway through college, which was 9th edition for me. So I have a splotchy history with 40k, let's say. But I think I'm in it for the long haul now. I mean, gameplay-wise, though, I've been playing a lot of Old World. I don't know, I quite like that system. Which has led to me not really playing too much of 11th. But maybe I'll play some more, because a bunch of my friends are getting back into it, so I am sure I'll get the bug to play tabletop pretty soon. Although apparently Trench Crusade's really heating up. A lot of people are playing that, so at least in my area. So I might grab a second warband if I could find the Prussian plastic kit somewhere. Hey, KS! Yeah, I imagine this time's a little bit more conducive for you. We're doing a nice early morning stream. Hope everything is going good. I saw Warden plugging your last stream, although by the time I actually got the chance to click the link, it was already unavailable. It's night for me. Ah. You would think, being a dual citizen, I'd know my time zones better, but I really don't, so I have no clue where you might be, that it will be nighttime now. I can't get on your later streams, it's 2:30 a.m. Yeah, I mean, totally understandable, man. No one's... No one's expecting you to, right? You got a lot of your own stuff going on. Oh yeah, the stream canned. My link's up. Failed about an hour in. Had to order a new rig and lights. I need to get like good light for these streams because my desk lamp here, I don't think is cutting it. Even this. Maybe once I actually paint the face and some of the other details besides the armor, it'll look a little better, but... I guess other news, last night, I went to a local hobby night, and I think my model that I was painting turned out horribly. I was doing an apothecary, and the lighting and the whole set they had was pretty dim. And I feel like my white looked awful, but I don't know. Might have to tune that up when I get a chance. I'm hoping to get this guy a video by end of the month. So this guy will probably be my focus for. Oh, this is for just regular Chaos Space Marines. I run these guys as traditional CSM. I would say if like gameplay and lore-wise, if you're trying to, draw a comparison with a Legion, I play them usually with Word Bearers adjacent rules. So lots of like Possessed, lots of Dark Apostles, but also lots of like lots of Sorcerers, almost like a Steel 1000 Suns vibe, just without the rubrics. Well, it can really affect the outcome. That's why I stopped yesterday. Yeah, fair. Yeah, no, the language was like really bad, and I think the original white I had looked pretty good, and then because it was so dim, I kept like overdoing it with highlights, and then while I was walking out of there, it just looked like a globby mess. So I'm hoping, like a very dull gray wash, and just reading the highlights will save it, but hopefully there's not like actual texture on it, which I don't think there should be, but we'll see. I've brought an AOS model to proxy in for Emperor's Children Demon Prince. I think the Dexessa. That's one of the newer ones, right? Hold on, let me look this up. The Dexessa. Oh wait, never mind, I'm wrong. No, yep. This lady. This is such a cool model. Like the whole... It's also like a multi-build with, I forgot what the other one's called. It's like a named character, but, I don't know, the whole, like, peacock feathered thing almost. Just the framing of it is, like, fantastic. Yeah, I think that's a really good shout, Chaos. That thing as the Demon Prince would look fantastic. Because I know you already have a Demon Prince for your, World Eaters. Nessa, that's it. But I'm talking about playing the last one. Well, yeah, you went a little bit more high effort than I'm doing here. You actually did your non-metallic mouse and all that. I'm just trying to get this guy done because he's, again, this guy's been sitting on my shelf for more than a minute. I'm still trying to figure out what I should do with all the flesh on this guy. I would maybe show a Possessed for comparison. However, I've been trying to clean up my desk area, and part of that was putting all of my miniatures in a carrying case and leaving that in my closet, so I don't really want to go grabbing all of that from upstairs. But maybe I will, just so I actually have stuff to show people who come in. Are you planning to match the membrane tone from the wings? Okay, the membrane tone from the wings. I know what you mean match, but I think I was either going to do actually I have one guy. I was gonna do sort of either pink with I do like a sort of like a greenish blue highlight with yellow sort of thing. So I was doing like veins of that color. Or I was just gonna do like a teal color, sort of like what he has on his purity seals there. So one of those two. Either pink or teal, and then like sort of like a corrupted flesh tone. Alright. Let me just quickly caffeinate. But yeah, up in the air, I think I'll work on the skin tones. And then once I get like a better sense of the model and the colors, I end up going with that. I think I'll maybe work backwards. Because I'm already going to do teal for some of the cloth. So I don't know, maybe a sort of like a purple or a pink might look interesting. I don't know if we're gonna do a bone color, but for now I'll paint this silver. And then we'll go back over it later if we need to. Because from what I remember from your Demon Prince, I believe it was... if I was going high on skin, I contrast with darker armor. What do you use for paint? Mix or specific brand? I use a mix of all paints, really. Also, I hope everyone's having a good night, or morning, or whatever is for you. Feel free to say hi and let me know if you're working on anything. But yeah, right now I'm using Vallejo Game Color Metallic. What is this? Gunmetal? Yeah, gunmetal. Really, it's what I have. I have a bunch of metallics sitting around. I don't really want to buy new ones at the moment if I don't need to. I always want to buy the Model Air colors. Because like years ago, everyone said those were the best. Now I feel like no one talks about them, but... And that's kind of the way things go in the mini hobby. Yeah. Even if something's good, there's always a new thing, a new product. Well, I hope I can be conducive to your own output pizza. Because that, honestly, would make me very, very happy. Also, you know what? We didn't have many submissions last time. But if you go on my Discord, there should be a link in the description. You could join that. And what I will sometimes do is I have a mini review channel. I will probably just make a post. There. And if anyone joins that, you will be able to post pictures of minis you're working on. And at the very end of the stream, we will go over it. You know, just be aware, I will be sharing these on stream, so it will be on the VOD, but might be a fun way for all of us to look at each other's progress. I just love hopping onto people's streams and just like playing with them. Yeah, I mean, definitely helps. I was never big into streaming or Twitch until I found some guys who do, like smaller hobby streams, and yeah, it's like very conducive to your own output. Yeah. Sometimes you come back from work, you don't really have anything to do, but painting minis isn't the most, it's not the easiest thing to do compared to like watching a movie or like scrolling on your phone. But when you have someone to, you know, spend the hours with, it really does help. Oh, jeez. Oh, is the link dead? Hold on. Hold on. Let me... invite the server. Never. Generate a new link. Alright, this one allegedly will never expire. Alright. The link that's in there now, if you you probably will need to refresh your page, but should work if you are wanting to share your stuff. Oh god, I'm gonna have to get in here a really weird angle. Just bear with me for a moment here. Alright, there we go. Sorry, I have to do the sort of back side of the bracer just there. Alright. Trying to burn through my last Berserker and Jackal Squad. Nice. So you're doing like a big batch painting thing, or are these like one-on-one miniatures? Because if you're painting through a Berserker and Jackal Squad, that'd be impressive. Also, I guess one small detail. I did sort of make this miniature with the idea that it's the apotheosized version of this guy. So it's after this guy becomes a demon prince. Meaning, so like, I want to sort of match some of the details. Like, he has his little back plate there with the sort of pink demon face. Let me put that a little bit closer to camera. So I'll match that with the plates on his chest and shoulder there. Yeah, I mean, thanks for letting me know. I didn't even realize the link was dead, so I genuinely appreciate it. Okay. Now that metallics are done, I get to start trying to figure out how I'm actually going to paint the rest of this thing. I did start with a sort of like gray-brown color, but I wasn't really feeling it. Alright, let's just take out paints and figure this stuff out. So this is what I'm going to do for his... I guess there isn't that much teal then, right? So I feel like teal for the wings might be nice, because besides that, what am I doing teal? Basically just his waistcloth, right? Yeah, I think I'll do teal on the wings, because we're getting a lot of pink in different areas. Now I'm looking at like the chest plate and this thing. They're gonna have some pink highlights on them. I think that's the move. Is this even open? It's not. Alright. This is my first time trying out one of the, what is this? Signature series, Dark Emerald in satin, which is actually quite nice because some of these pearl acrylic paints can be very matte, which I don't like for darker colors. So hopefully the satin gives that nicer finish. Okay. Also, I might do a bit of makeup sponging later on for the wings. We'll see. We'll see exactly what I do here. I am really still trying to figure all this out, guys. So I don't have a particular... Oh, wait. Hold on. Alright. Crisis averted. I just had a minor... I ended up taking just like a plastic bag full of bunch of paints to that hobby meetup yesterday, and I realized I never actually closed this white. And when I was taking some of my brushes out, so I was white paint everywhere. I had to make sure nothing was too badly damaged, which it wasn't. It was a pretty minor leak, all things considered, which I guess I lucked out there. Alright, back to actually painting stuff now that I'm not panicking about ruining brushes. Maybe I should even do a darker tone for my base coat. I mean, there's a good chance I probably hit all this with an oil wash, so shouldn't be the biggest problem, I don't think. I did hit the tackle just there, so let me clean that up very quick. I might also do a statue in the same color, just as a base coat for the verdigris. Do you have a base scheme for this army, assuming you have a CSM army? Yep. I don't have a bunch of minis around, but here is a good example of one. Basically just, sort of like a dark blue, with teal accents. The pink is more so on specifically this character. That's not, like, across the whole army. And then just these sort of, like, glowing yellowish, bits of energy around him. Let me see if I have other guys. Not many, actually. Oh, wait, I have this guy. I did something slightly different for this guy's power weapon, but similar scheme besides. Less of that yellow in there. I ended up not really liking the way the sort of just the blue over the white looked, so. what got me into 40k? So I was a fan of the setting for a pretty long time, just through, I guess, other exposure. What got me into the tabletop was I found a box of Dark Imperium. It was pretty cheap in the country I was. Well, I guess a better way to say the whole story would be, I went away on vacation to Poland, which is actually a pretty cheap place to buy Warhammer, at least at the time it was. And I was staying there for quite a long time. And at the very end of the vacation, for my birthday present, I looked up Dark Imperium prices. I found they were way cheaper here than at home. And I managed to talk my way into that box set. And this was before the edition boxes were so, like, FOMO, before they were so limited, right? You could pick up the edition box sets at this time, like, very easily throughout the edition. So 8th edition was already out for, I think, like, a year. Meaning, they were actually doing, like, basically almost like a clearance on it. They did, it was a small shop and they did not want to sing around. The hardest part of convincing my parents was, I could take very few clothes home, but as well, like a 12-year-old or whatever, that really was not a concern of mine. And I went home and I painted all the minis to a pretty poor standard, and I've been in Warhammer basically ever since. Deathcore of Krieg propaganda. Fair. I think, like, all Warhammer players for a long time, I wanted a Krieg army. But luckily, for my wallet, I got out of my Krieg phase by the time the models actually came out. I have a Vostroyan army. The Firstborn are my pride and joy. I have a bunch of the War Games Atlantic kits, although I would be pretty happy if we ever got some GW plastics. Oh, I'm still in my Krieg. So people never leave their Krieg phase. It's one of those things, right? For some people, it is just a phase bomb, but for others, it's a lifestyle. I do like this Emerald Jade Green. That's what I'm gonna do on my Demon Hunter's army. However, at the same time, it is a little bit different from my other guys. I don't think that's a huge issue, though. I kind of like it. You could only get your hands on Kill Team box set? Well, I mean, for a long time, they were only a Kill Team, right? But yeah, they've got basically a full range now. I'm surprised they haven't done any, like, Krieg-specific vehicles. Like, I feel like a plastic Macarius would make a lot of sense, but... maybe they're just, like, doing it, bits at a time. That's usually the way GW goes. In between the big releases, you give them a tank or a character or whatever. Yeah, but I thought they came with tokens and stuff. I just got decals and sprues. So I don't know if it's an Oz thing or just different boxes. It might be different boxes. I think even more modern Kill Team sets still come with decals and the like. Or no, not decals. Everything comes with decals. Sorry, I meant like all the stuff you get in the box. Actually, I have a Kill Team box right behind me. Let me go check. Yeah, you get like this thing. Get this little because I got the veteran box. I think what it might be, I don't know when you got this. I think the veteran box used to be a Kill Team box, and then they repackaged it for Warhammer 40k. So because it's no longer a Kill Team product, I guess, you don't get all the tokens and stuff. These are actually pretty nice looking. I might use these just for tabletop games. Yeah, the other ones were like, they were like blue and like orange, which was, you know, it was fine, but these like black and red ones look super striking, so I'm quite happy with those. Now that I look at them, I didn't even open the envelope before because I just thought it was the same stuff I already had. Alright. If I'm being honest, I did not want to paint this mall tonight. Or, I don't know, I keep saying tonight. It's literally first thing in the morning for me. But I'm completely out of 40 mil bases. And I want to do Havocs. And I just didn't have the base for him. So, you're getting this guy instead. He's kind of stretching my current stream set to its limits, but that's fine. We'll deal. Yeah, I mean, I'm really liking this dark emerald color. I'm working in like pretty thin coats here, just because I do want to preserve the detail. I don't mind spending that bit of extra time on this guy. But it is a pretty nice looking paint so far. I mean, obviously I'm doing like glazing I'll go much thinner than this, but compared to what a lot of people base coat in, I'd say I'm thinning down pretty substantially. But of course, it's all like a personal technique thing. Needs like 4 layers. I used to be in a very similar spot, and then I sort of just lost patience with it. So now I go quite a bit. I got Army Painter and Citadel. I used to exclusively use Army Painter. I got one of those big, the big like star sets that get you like a bunch of paint. However, I've branched out recently. I really like AK Interactive, but they're kind of hard to find. My store sells a bunch of this Pro Acryl paint, and I really like it for certain colors. I would say that their bright colors are substantially better than their darks. A lot of their dark colors have like, they're very matte, and they have a very like chalky finish. But their brighter shades I think are fantastic. I've just gone into Army Painter to level up my skin schemes. I mean, Army Painter is such a great range. I feel like there's so... It's also like I guess like a location thing, right? Like every store by me has some Army Painter. And usually like nice big like racks of it. Where they have like the full range and it's super available. Whereas I only know of one store that stocks AK. And honestly, I don't really like playing at that store, so I'm not in there too often. They are really good. I got myself a D&D paint set from Army Painter, and it's amazing. Seems a little chalky compared to Vallejo. If you're talking about Army Painter, so they did a whole like 2.0 War Games Fanatic refresh. My Army Painters are from the era before that, so I noticed a lot of like inconsistencies. Like some are very chalky, some have like a gel medium. Apparently they've like fixed a lot of those inconsistencies. I couldn't really tell you about modern Army Painter though, unfortunately. But Vallejo's typically have, I would say, a more satin finish than most. So I could definitely see Army Painter being chalkier than that. Citadels also seem to have a slightly more satin finish. I don't know. I think with paints, you're always... It's always good to experiment and not have some like weird sense of brand loyalty. Oh, Army Painters, they don't thin well. I like owl. Like the pigment quantity is also a little low sometimes. They have their limitations. But yeah, like it's hard to, you know, excessively thin them like you would for glazing. I do agree. I feel like AKs hold up very well for thinning. I feel like my hobbies hold up well. Vallejo holds up very well also. Cursed Blade. I actually might need to expand my metallics at some point with a few more weird colors. Cursed Blade. Paint. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it's like a super dark color. Interesting. Yeah, that might be like a good undercoat even. Or I guess if you're going for like a very dark, gold color. That might be interesting. There's I don't actually use any GW, but I know there's like Balthazar gold, which is like the sort of dark gold color. Reminds me of that. Dipping my toe into Turbo Dork for my Flawless Blades. Nice. I have this super, like, dark, almost black metallic from Turbo Dork. And I rarely get to use it. But it's always, like, that's one paint that I think is just fun. It's just fun to use on models. Let me actually find one. Hold on. So this is Turbo Dork. I think it's like Death Metal. Very faintly highlighted up with silver. And I really like the way this looks. I don't know what army I use it for, but I think maybe for my Black Orcs that I have. I actually just bought some, so I might try this out. Maybe on those guys, because they're all a little bit more, like, ramshackle. I might even try some, like, rust effect also. But yeah, Turbo Dork makes a lot of really unique products. Not the most easy to work with, but... Yeah, a little anxious. Gone good in white. I think it's called Motherload Golden White. I know exactly the paint you're thinking about, because I was planning on using it for these guys, like, very early on. I actually have some of the white... So, I have some, like, homebrew lore for this army, but effectively, there's also, like, smaller contingents or, like, sub-factions I have going on. And I have, like, this army, or, like, this part that has white armor. I go for, like, a kind of, like, grim, dark, dingy look. I'm actually not the most happy with how these guys turned out. I think, especially the silver trim looks quite bad. But we're just thinking of maybe using the Motherload to give these guys some interest. Ended up not doing that. I feel like it looked a little tacky, but that was just me. Well, also I was doing it over the entire armor, which probably didn't help. I was also trying out Turbo Dork for my initial scheme many years ago when I started these guys. I think it's called Blue Raspberry. I did like a very dark blue, purple, and then I did that color over it. And I had like a similar feeling where it was cool, especially once you did like a couple of coats and got like a solid surface, but I wish I did keep my test model at least. However, it's something that's cool for a model, maybe not for a full army. Also, I feel like you'd end up going through many bottles for larger minis. Alright. Now I'm just waiting for the wings to fully dry before we do it. Oh. Hold on, I missed a spot. Oh, also, I want to do the statue. That's what I want to do. I'm probably going to layer up of similar colors as my as my teal, then I'll just dry brush the whole thing with some like brasses and golds. Make it look like a heavily worn down. Worn down the relic. It's also a fantasy thing, which I think adds some interest. But you guys have a very, like, you know, a very chaotic base, assumingly, like, on the demon world or something, where reality might not operate by the same rules. We'll see how long I go for, because I am quote-unquote free, however, I did make plans, so... We'll see how those go. I was originally going to go to the motor vehicle this morning, but I managed to get that done yesterday, so now I'm free to do the stream, which is pretty great. Might as well use the vortex, although I'm hand mixing this one. It's literally right there. There is a, it's like a Khorne Demonkin Battle Force. And I'm always thinking of buying it when I go to the store. It's also very available online. I guess these new Battle Forces aren't selling like they used to. But it's got like 20 blood leathers, 6 blood crushers, and what was it, like a massive executions, some Khorne berserkers, and then a lord on Juggernaut. I was thinking of maybe picking that up. Then I get to use the demons for fantasy, mainly because blood crushers on their own are super pricey. So if I'm gonna spend like 90 bucks on blood crushers, I might as well spend 200 or whatever. Get the blood crushers, get the demons, the bloodleathers, and then get some Khorne berserkers for my CSM army. Because as of the current codex, you can still run Khorne berserkers with generic Chaos Space Marines, which is really cool because Khorne berserkers are kind of spicy. I know everyone says it's all about the 8-bound. I know that's apparently the hot thing now, but I mean, berserkers, they move 8, they have a bunch of melee attacks, like they seem good. Seem pretty good. So I definitely won't mind some of those to spice up the forces. Hello again, Blood for the Blood God. How are you doing? Working on anything in particular? Nah, it's still early here. Gotcha. It's early by me also. I planned out to have a free morning and ended up not needing it, so end up just using the time to do this stream. I guess just to be clear, this guy will not be an ongoing stream project. Likely, once I get this guy sufficiently done, the Havocs are gonna take over. But I'm just doing him tonight, because I don't have anything else to do. Because Havocs don't have bases yet. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying tonight. It's something that my brain just can't reconcile me streaming early in the day. It's literally not even noon. Did some work for my brother, and sometime next month I'll have a Lord of Skulls. I've got a Daemon Prince, most of the CSM Battle Force, Helldrake, bunch of Marines, and more to paint. Lol. Oh, which CSM Battle Force? The one with the there's one with like the Lord of Scorden and all those guys, the Venom Thrope. I'm gonna try to get the Helldrake done before I get to that. Before I get that monster. I see. I finished my Helldrake at the start of the year, and by God, was that a really, really bad kit to put together. I kind of hated mine, the actual process of painting it, and now it's on the display shelf, and it keeps breaking. I think I glued the rings. I don't know what it is. One of the wings keeps popping off. I think I maybe glued it the wrong way together. I don't really know. At this point, I'm too lazy to fix it. It's literally broke off like 4 times. And I don't care enough. I mean, yeah, Helldrake's fun, but at some point, the trim on those wings, it gets to you. Lord of Skulls seems awesome, though. Like, that guy sounds like a fun project. Alright. I'm gonna need to give everything a second to dry before I take out the makeup sponge. I guess let me just make sure that this didn't get ruined by white paint like all the other stuff in the box. Let me just clean some of these things off, because don't want this to end up being a mess. I might get that Corn Demonkin Battle Force only because I'm running out of Chaos Space Marines. I have the 2 Demon Princes, which is obviously a big one, but then I only have the Havocs. That's it for my CSM. Which, I mean, it's good, right? I'll have a, you know, whatever, 2,500 points, I think. It is nice to always have some on hand if I ever want to do a quick live stream. I could start a skin, but I think for now, I'll just work on getting the teals looking good. While the wings dry, I'm just gonna work on that tabard real quick. It's technically not tabard, but you know what I mean. Glad I leaned into Carnival of Excess in 10th edition. My Keeper of Secrets will be worth it. I mean, that's that's like a match made in heaven with those AO smalls. There's a guy who does there's a guy who does he uses Healings of Slaanesh in Old World. And oh my god, they're so beautiful. He does like a really interesting sort of like gold, teal, and like only pink for like certain areas, and looks fantastic. When I get around to painting it, think I'll go Shalaxi over Keeper of Secrets. Yeah, I forget exactly what the difference is. I think it's like a different head. I know the options in the box. I don't know which ones are Shalaxi. I think it's the spear is Shalaxi, right? I know there's obviously like gameplay differences, but I don't know Slaanesh enough to tell you about that. I just realized Keeper of Secrets builds Shalaxi, Great Unclean One builds Rodriguez. Lord of Change builds Kairos. But no one gets built from the Bloodthirster kit, right? Because Scarbrand has his own model. Can you build like Kabunda from the Bloodthirster kit? Let me look that up. I'm actually interested now. Because that's like a weird bit of like discrepancy. Not that I really mind. I don't know. The Bloodthirster to me is by far probably the worst of those 4 demons. Like, his pose is cool, but especially though his whip, I don't know. It feels like that'll break immediately. Yeah, I'm not seeing them name drop a character. Like, I don't mind the dynamic pose, but I've seen those guys snap off their bases, which I think is a bit of an issue. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna still need another minute, honestly. Not that I can recall. I thought TB would have built Scarbrand, but doesn't. No, it doesn't. There are other like big name Bloodthirsters. I think the big one's Kabunda. I don't know if I'm remembering that name correct, but I believe that's him. He would be the natural choice to build from the Bloodthirster kit. But I guess he's not even like a data sheet anymore, so... Yeah, I don't know. Demons are weird. Hopefully they get a refresh somewhat soon, and all the weirdness surrounding that faction sort of solves itself, but... I don't know. They're not in the best spot, to be honest. Okay. Let me get the sponge moisturized. Kabunda's a huge kit? Is he? What? I didn't realize... Wait, hold on. Kabunda. Really? Oh, he's resin too. And he's only for 30k. What the hell's up with that? I mean, he's literally in, like... He's a demon. He's in all the sayings. He's like Khorne's main guy now that Scarbrand got exiled. It's an excellent mall, though. Oh, yeah, he makes Magnus look small. I've never actually seen this mall in person. But I think this might be one of the best looking, like, rare demons. Like, ever. He looks fantastic. I've never seen him with a helmet. Hold up. Is my window capture set up? I can get some. Alright. I mean, look at this. This is awesome, no? Or was it? That's crazy. What base does he come with? Resin kit 49 170mm oval. What does a knight come on? However, we'll get back to the painting, but that's just interesting. Okay. Is there a way to stop models from snapping from regular use? Uh, the real answer is pinning. So generally, models, you have very few breakages unless it's like certain areas. One of the big ones are like banners or like long thin pieces. Sometimes with stands also, like if you're just talking about some demons. So if you look at like the Bloodthirster kit, like that guy, or like whips. So like for example, here I glued two pieces together. I glued this sword, which is one piece, to this like long handle. So what I did, Piotr, is I drilled holes in both, and I basically left a bit of wire in. That acts as like a dowel to help strengthen that joint. So if you have problems with snapping, that might have to be an option. As you know, I guess like the question is, is this like a, do you have like an actual example of like a model where this is happening, or is this just like a theoretical question? Chaos Demons need an update. I agree, Blood for the Blood God. That would be cool. Haha, Nighthaunt players still can't believe they made that faction the Star faction. It's one of the most... all the demons from like the... What was it, the Soul Wars box? Not demons, the ghosts that were on the Soul Wars box set on those tiny little like robe. Like strands of robe touching the base in one spot. It's kind of... Yeah, I think you're right. As like a starter army in the big edition Star set, that's kind of insane. But I hope you're doing well, Merchant Prince. Do you happen to be working on anything at the moment? Warhammer or otherwise? I might just have to hold the further up because there is a bit of wobble. They should have made 3 points of contact for each, or at least 2. One is a thick comp. Yeah, I don't know. GW makes very nice models, but I feel like the designers have a really bad habit of just like not considering actual play for these things. I'm working on a Renegade Crowns army for Old World. That's basically Dogs of War. I'm familiar, man. Mercenary style army from the Boar Princess region. I was going to do Renegade Crowns. However, I ended up thinking that Ostland was a better choice. So I've been working on... This is my second Old World army. I've been doing some archers. I just finished these up kind of recently. That's awesome, man. I'm... This is fantasy, right? So this guy, he can be used in either fantasy or 40k. I built him with the more, I would say, like, fantasy bits. But he works in both, because they both have demons. Looks great. Awesome is a fun scheme. Yeah, it's a little similar to my Black Templars, which I don't mind, but is definitely a fact that I am kind of repeating myself there with the primary colors, but yeah. Austin has been fun. I've really been liking these sculpts from Last Sword Miniatures. land speeders or some of the Vanguard or Chaplain, they break from looking at them. That, yeah, the flyers might be an issue. Yeah, I could definitely see that being a problem. I haven't built mine yet. I might get back to you if I have some advice on that front. Because currently I still have Armageddon sealed in box. But yeah, super glad to see someone interested in the old world. I was planning to do a Dogs of War army sort of themed around, if you know Glenn Cook's The Black Company. Sort of similar to those guys. You can always add in some variety in color if you add Empire Knights, since they'll have their own order. Yeah, I was looking at... Last Sword makes a range of miniatures, I think, called, like, Templars of Erebus. But I was going to do it with as, like, Knights of More. But instead of, like, the usual Knights of More colors, I'm going to add in, like, purple robes. I thought would look really, really interesting. Because I remember seeing some, like, older, for, like, the 80s and 90s color schemes for Knights. That had that purple in there. And I thought that looked fantastic. So I'm probably going to try and replicate that look. I was interested in Fantasy. It is more popular at my store than any other game, but then I was told how much an average Bretonnian army costs, and I went with Space Marines. Honestly, I think Space Marines might not be so cheap either, but yeah, it depends. The issue with Bretonnians is that they're also like somewhat old miniatures. So it definitely does not feel good paying modern prices for them. I don't know how big 3D printing is where you're at, but that's what I'm doing with some of my Warhammer Fantasy armies. Just because there are so few official kits for that game. Alright. That might honestly be it for the for the makeup sponge, given the fact that I did not sub-assemble anything, so I'll probably move over to the dry brush in just a second. Alright, let me just get a couple of chat though. Daemon seemed to go very well for you. Yeah. So far we don't have too much done, but the wings by themselves, especially this back part, are looking pretty snazzy. The old world boxes do tend to be decent value for the amount of models. Usually you get 20 or so for infantry and 10 or 12 for cav at least. Except for those new chaos kits that are like, what, it's 8 cav and 16 infantry, which is a little bit disappointing, but whatever. Well, prices go up faster than my bi-weekly money, and space beans are easier for cheap. Yeah, I mean, no, of course, do whatever you think is best. I know that if I tried a rank or monster heavy, the cost would be crazy. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Bretonians, I think, can be kind of elite, but it depends on what units. Like, I think Grail Guardians can be quite... I don't really know what's quote-unquote good either. Anyway, I will be 2 minutes, just have to clean out the sponge. Be right back. Alright, and I am back. Oh, speaking of prices, I assume everyone saw the announcement. I've seen new prices posted for 40k stuff. I have no clue how that has impacted old world kits. So we'll see on that front. But yeah, kind of crazy if you ask me. Sorry about that, guys. That would usually be my notification to clock into work, however, I took the day off. The more I look at it, the more I quite like the darker sort of skin tone. I was originally gonna lighten it up with all my other possessed flesh being so bright, but looking at it again, I think the dark colors are doing quite a bit of work here. Especially contrasting these wings that I think are obviously going to be one of the focal points of the model. I think it's looking pretty good. Oh, I probably should paint these little areas too. Make sure they don't get neglected. Yeah, I think cost-wise for Bretonians, probably the worst decision would be to go peasant heavy. I know those guys can be extraordinarily cheap. One of the nice things about Old World from a budget point of view is characters can make up a lot of your list. Like, I play Beastmen as my main army. And I only started a few months ago, but I already had enough to play a full 2200 tournament because of specific my characters, because they're only one model each, but I get each of them to be above 300 points in value. Also because I'm an insane person who paints a lot, so I managed to get the army done in that span of time, but still. Absolutely. Magic items, taking Lord level heroes especially, just on its own can, you know, skyrocket those prices. And then as a Beastman player, the Chaos mutations, like, all that sort of stuff. Obviously some factions don't get their equivalent, but most have something in line with that. For the verdigris in this thing, I want to go a little bit more intense. So, you can obviously I'm doing a much brighter dry brush here. Not even really a dry brush, just like almost like a full covering. Because I have a sort of a good plan of what I want this to eventually look like, and I think this will get me where I want to be. So what specific units are you using for your Border Prince's army? One of the guys who I play with quite regularly, he uses lots of like dwarf mercenaries, which seems like a kind of fun playstyle, but probably I imagine not the not the most meta way to run them. Yeah, he does like a fun mix of knights, dwarf mercenaries, and some artillery. I know they have some pretty powerful magic banners that can also help. I think they have something that's pretty good for combat res, is what I understood, but have not looked into it deep enough to actually. Even identify by name. Ooh, that's weird. Alright. This blue that I'm trying to use here is quite watery, even after being sent through the vortex mixer. So I will probably just put it to the side. Mine is mostly human, since I'm just trying to smash out 700 points for a little Battle March tournament in October. We'll add ogres later. Kit-wise, it's mostly Empire stuff, heavily converted. Hell yeah. Do you have a theme in mind? Like, are you doing, like Dogs of War? Are you doing, like, Chileans? Are you doing Estalians? I think I'll just strap this electric blue, see how that goes. since my usual highlight blue color that I use for this is not behaving. With a view of making it generally more generically human, not Empire specific. Understood. Talea aesthetic-wise. Interesting. Interesting. I know it's not classically Talea, but there's also in the Warhammer fantasy, I guess, timeline, not the old world timeline. Because there's some weirdness regarding that, but I always forget his name, but there's like the Roman LARPer guy that I always thought would be a pretty funny kit bash to do. Where he's like trying to revive the memory of the Riemann Empire. That might be a fun theme for a future Dogs of War conversion. Alright. Even if we don't accomplish anything else of note over this stream, at least we got these wings looking good. Also, Merchant Prince, you're still here. Sorry for berating you with questions, but what color scheme are you going for? I don't know. Rumor has it we're also gonna have some ballad marches coming up at the store for us as well. Meaning I might have the chance to start out some new armies. Maybe a small CSM or not fucking CSM. Maybe a small Chaos Warriors force to add on to my Beastmen, especially given that there's the Horde of Chaos rules. That seem really interesting. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I like the brown. Maybe we keep going with the brown. I'll have to see. Ah, shit. My bad, guys. I hear car alarm. Let me just go check that out really quick. Alright. Crisis averted. Not one of my cards. We are fine. Alright, think I'll start leaning into Hedonites of Slanesh so I can proxy into 40k. Oh, the thrice full Discord as my Chaos spawn? Absolutely, yeah. I was actually looking at those guys recently. They look amazing. Yeah, perfect for spawn. Yeah, the teal's looking good. I meant to go brighter with the skin, but I actually really like the way the dark skin tone looks on this guy. So we might actually even go a shade darker on the skin tone, then highlight up. Is, I think, maybe the direction I want to go. We'll have to think about it. In the meantime, I guess, I will start picking out some of the bone on this guy. But yeah, the wings are looking great. Also, just want to say really quick, thanks you everyone who's watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, because I think this stream is already my most successful so far. So I really appreciate it. As stereotypical as all that sounds, but... But yeah, if anyone is not aware of Chaos Miniatures, I would definitely check him out. He does a lot of very cool videos and streams on his channel. Mostly Chaos related from what I've gathered. But he has some excellent videos. I really liked his one on magnetizing the Defiler and on his Demon Prince. So I would check those out if you have not already. appreciate your plague works were phenomenal. I mean, I think they got the credit they deserve, man, because that is by far my highest viewed video, which I am super proud of. I think it's my best project so far, and I hope to exceed that standard soon. I don't know, maybe I should have taken the strike while the iron was hot, but I didn't want to rush into a sequel. However, I do have quite a few more orcs that probably will be getting their time in the sun. Hopefully pretty soon. Probably won't be this month. Probably won't even be next month, but it is on my short list. That is fair, yeah. You need a hobby with what you like first and foremost. That is absolutely a fair approach. Oh, I don't know why you'd say that. I feel like your stuff is super cool. I feel like anyone who's into Warhammer will probably dig your videos, man. I love this guy's... man. It's so, like... It's just so weird, the sort of sculpt I went for. But I am a huge, huge fan. If I was turning out. I'm talking about specifically the head of this Demon Prince. I think this was in the skull set, this sort of like weird malformed giant skull that I like did a bunch of green stuff with. I added a bunch of like nurgly bits to it. My main inspiration was the creature from the end of Alien Resurrection, if anyone's seen that movie. The sort of half-human, half-xenomorph thing. That was the reason I gave it, like, weird bulging eyes. I don't know how well those show up without any paint on them, but... I think the tongue, and I think maybe one of the horn sort of protrusion things was from the Nurgle kit. I just sort of green stuffed everything together and... I knew someone who hated this head, thought it looked horrible, but I think some people just don't see the vision. And that vision being one of the worst films of the Alien franchise. Oop, I think that was the playlist ending. Let's get some more music out here. Why is that still not playing? Hold on. Hold on. Alright. Just need to tab back into it. Hey, Chaos, if you're still here, do you have any plans on another long-form video? I feel like it's been a little while since your last one. I know you've obviously been... Hold on. What the hell happened to my music? Weird, okay. Where was I? Yeah, it's been a while since your last long form, and I honestly would love to see another one out of you. Not immediately. I didn't want to recycle the same mall slash content. Yeah, fair. That's one of the things with, I guess, our field of videos. If you want to make a new video, you have to actually do a new project. Which obviously makes figuring them out rapidly a little bit of a hard ask. All right. I think I'm gonna take out some purples. I'm gonna start on the little faces that I want to do. Plenty to do when I start in Emperor's Children. Absolutely. I'll probably do a roundup when I finish World Eaters, nearly at 3K. Hell yeah. Also, I think army reviews might be something I'm also gonna be interested in because it means I don't have to actually paint a new project, and I have quite a few armies that I can show off if that's something people are interested in. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, purple. Oh, I'm supposed to paint this in bone also. Hoping they refresh the Rhino this edition. Is something going off the internet? Weird, weird. Okay. I had like a bizarre stutter just there a minute ago, but... I think if they refresh the Rhino, literally like 10 armies would all erupt in joy. I've been putting off getting the Rhino because apparently they shrunk it down. I don't think they shrunk it down. It's been like the same kit forever. Unless maybe you're talking about one of the Horus Heresy Rhinos. That is a big ask. Yeah, absolutely. I think... I don't know. They tried refreshing with the Impulsor, but I feel like the classic Rhino just has so much charm to it that that's like the natural way to go. Same with the Land Raider Ancient Kit with annoying gaps due to mold deterioration. Oh, tell me about it. Oh, my Land Raider Crusader it's just the worst. I never built one new. The one I had was like a relic. It was like the original. Yeah, I never heard about shrinking. Anyway, it just feels scaled down with everything else being bigger. I think that might be a KS, yeah. It does feel tiny. My chunky gap-filled Predators and Rhinos. I always got those kits, like, used. And the one I got was not the modern Land Raider Crusader, but the old Metal Upgrade Kit version. And that thing was ancient. It was just slathered on with, like, layers upon layers of, like, probably multiple owners of paint. And, like, to the point where I literally had to peel it off the surfaces. And then, like, it was all warped and probably heat damage. And I could get it from upstairs, but the gaps on that thing are crazy. It's, like, it's bad. Agreed, Grav tanks were a mistake. Grav is a whimsical Eldar and 30k thing. Marines should be ground and grumbly. Yeah, Space Marines especially, right? Like, it's okay if it was like an AdMech thing or something, but like Space Marines, they should not be floating around. They should be barreling towards you with tank treads, right? I don't know. I don't mind the land speeder, right? But like, I think the Impulsor was a bit too much, too fast. I think it's also an issue with how big the plates of the Land Raider are. Like with Predators, they usually come together pretty nicely, but I feel like... I don't know. I might just be biased because I have a particularly bad example. Yeah. My Land Raider's got some issues. I do want to get like a brand new one at some point. Hopefully they give it a refresh. At the same time, like new GW kits, like even the Horus Heresy ones, kind of suck to build. They're like, I feel a bit just too many pieces. That's sort of how I always feel putting together my like the Spartan. The Horus Heresy era Spartan is kind of a nightmare. Oh, and the Saturnine Dread was even worse. I won't know the Land Raider struggle for a while, but I'm excited to do the Lore of Skulls and all its tracks. Yeah. I've never put one together, but I can assume that's a mighty undertaking. For a long time, I didn't even realize Lore of Skulls was a plastic kit. For whatever reason, I always thought that was resin. I don't know, I always associate with like that line of like Brass Scorpion and all those guys. But no, it's a plastic kit, as far as I know. I also did these like little chaotic growths around the model, which I also want to do this sort of pink purple color. $30K vehicle kits are basically historical scale models like World War II ones in terms of part count complexity. It's fitting in a way because 30K is more like a historical war game than 40K. I guess in some ways, yeah. It's been on the wishlist since it started. Rounds out my 3K World Eaters army nicely. Yeah. I don't know. My favorite parts of 30K from a gameplay point of view are always I just like the way it feels like old 40K. I don't know. I do want to get into maybe some historicals, but I feel like all the periods I'm interested in are kind of niche. Like, I don't really want to do a World War II army, but I am getting into Flames of War with early war Poles. However, that might be a little bit of an ask because I really don't know how I'm going to paint those. I'm the kind of person where I like to have my armies for every game painted like at the get-go. So we'll see. We'll see how I do. Alright, we're already starting to get a little bit of progress on this guy. I'm not too we'll see. How long have I been going? I've only been going for 2 hours. I will say that yeah. Well, let's keep going. We'll do another half hour. Got my dark colored. Actually, maybe go a little bit brighter. Actually, not like that. I'll start off with this tin color. And let me look for an older brush to do this with. Although this one may be a bit too big. You know what? I think it should be alright. We'll risk this makeup brush. If anything, I'll buy a replacement. So over the sort of bright green base coat, we're going to try and build up the effect of patinaed metal. So we're going to go with this very dark colored copper color, and we're going to go over the whole thing. Right, already, I think that looks kind of great. And then we're just going to hit it with a slightly brighter bronze from the top. Alright. Looking pretty snazzy. And I'm just trying to do a good job of cleaning out this small brush because it's quite useful, and I would rather make it last. Alright, gotta jump on work calls later, folks. Remember to drop the like. Have a good one, KS. I really appreciate your presence. Have a good one. Let's bust out some brighter magenta here and start highlighting up those little demonic faces he has across his armor. Man, that truck outside has some squeaky damn brakes. Not bad, not bad. I am thinking of what to do with these tentacles now, though, because it is going to be quite the, I think, oversaturation of color. We got the blues, we got the pinks, and we got the teals. So I'm thinking of maybe going for like a darker skin tone, sort of like a gray-brown, even darker than what I currently have. And then transitioning to maybe not as saturated as like these sort of demonic faces, but like a similar sort of like more like a dark purple color. I appreciate it, man. It's all the things, right? You add a lot of extra sort of weird stuff to these like big centerpiece character models, but it's always trying to find the balance of making them look cool and unique, but also trying to fit the rest of your army. But I think we're currently trying to figure out that balance here. And I think we're doing pretty good. Definitely still not even halfway, I think. This is probably going to be a long one. I've overloaded myself, now I want to pick mine back up. Yeah. I have a bad habit of doing out projects. I've been really good about it as of late. Where I used to very often start a project, see how it's coming along, just throw it to the side and never work on it again. It's not even like a motivation thing, it's more like a results thing. If like the results weren't to a certain standard, and I had like very little desire to go back to a, I guess like a bad foundation. But I've been pretty good about just like seeing things through recently, which is, I think, helped me actually finish models. But yeah, if I don't finish something in like one shot, like, you know, within like a certain span, if I like move on to other projects, I'll often come back to it and be like, ah, this sucks, and then discard it. But so far, I think we got a lot of... We actually got quite a bit done tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I think the wings in particular are looking good. I like specifically this sort of darker side on the left. Obviously, they both need some cleaning up. I think that's kind of what is inspiring me to do the darker skin tone. I think that's really gonna pop. But either way, this was great, guys. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Have a good one, and we should be doing another one of these soon. There is a link to the Discord in the description. Sometimes we do a mini review segment where people can post their minis, and I will look at them and broadcast that to all of you. However, no submissions for today, so we'll probably do that next time. Have a good one, everybody.